All right, speculators, let's fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream for the afternoon of Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Hope everyone's had a good trading session thus far. If you're first one in here and you can give me a 1 for picture and sound, I'd really appreciate it. Looks like everything is going well. Want to remind everybody of this risk disclosure and disclaimer that this presentation is for educational purposes only, and that the trades presented in here are hypothetical and being placed in simulated brokerage accounts, so you should not expect them to be replicated in a live trading account. Also, all of the nonsense I say is just me. Nobody else influencing any of this nonsense that we talk about. All right, someone just said guitars, and Adam mentioned this. Yeah, one of the things that's nice about trading the Dow Jones is you can just bring up a watch list of a lot of the large Dow stocks. Those of you that are familiar with how the Dow is calculated, it is a price-weighted index. So the bigger the price, the larger the price. And we have something like Goldman Sachs that's a $760 stock. Can't believe that. That's up $22. That's going to move the markets quite a bit. Plus United Healthcare. The big dog used to be United Healthcare, and United Healthcare is down from 500 or 600. Though up to 347, which is good for this guy who bought it a little bit below 300. So yeah, you can just sort of take a look at that and get a sense of what's going on with the Dow today as it's really rocketed up there. So there you go. That's that little chart right there. Let me move this out of the way. So I got a lot to cover today. As you saw in the notice, I'm going to try again to use the stream as a way to tell all you fine people that are in here that are not yet a member of my community that you really, really are missing out. Had a great Trader Talk Tuesday today with Gary, and if you're not going to take advantage or find out a little bit about this offer, I would highly, highly encourage you to still go down to the description down below and make sure that you get the free ebook or one of my free courses, so you're at least on the list, so you can be able to watch and listen to this Trader Talk that we did today. I'm actually going to go over and grab it real quick. Let me go here. I'll start it here. This is right where it starts, so we'll get it going right there. And let me come down over to here and put it in the chat. Okay, so what we do in our trade room on Tuesdays, not all the time, I wish it was every single week, is we have our Trader Talk Tuesday. What is it? Why is this picture of me so big? I didn't have time to size that. So anyway, sorry. Big old head. Oh, I know. Because my video guys were like, hey, these are the dimensions you need to use so that we can make your videos look better. My little short clips. Anyhow, we have a Trader Talk Tuesday. We talked to a member of our trading community, and today we spoke to a gentleman named Gary who lives in Maine, and it's a similar story, everybody. Decent amount of trading experience, but when it came to these prop programs, lots of churn, lots of lack of success, lots of frustration, lots of oversizing, lots of blowups. You know the story. If you've been on my stream for a little while, or it's the first time you're ever seeing it here, I teach and train on how to actually do this stuff correctly, all right? That's what's in that Prop Done Right book. And if you're able to accelerate and jump over doing a trial, you can also check down below and find out how you can get involved in my trade room in the special that we're going to be running this week. All right. And if you do that, there's a bunch of other good stuff. You're going to get entered in a drawing to win one of 25 accounts that I'll be giving away from a variety of different firms, from Apex, from Take Profit, from you cannot choose which one you win if you win. If you win, you get whichever one in whatever order. Okay. But I mean, that's a silly little, incentive, but it seems to make people, take action. Anyway, you can check out all the details down below. Essentially, it's 3 months in my trade room for $249. That's going to include lifetime access to our members Discord. Even if you decide to not continue, you're going to get lifetime access to the trading indicators, which are essentially the extreme turn, which is a great way of identifying some turning points in the marketplace. And a lot of other goodies, including 1 month access to our accountability community that we're starting up as well. We're finding that we need, despite everything I do, I'm only one guy. The best way to stay accountable is stay accountable to your peers, to other people that you meet virtually, and to make this really work. Because It takes me so long to doctor this every day, gang. I mean, it takes me a long time to doctor this. You know I kid. But this is 4 out of 5 days for me, and you guys can all do this. This is copiers, this is replicators, but this is all micros, okay? This is all micros doing things the proper way. So if you want to see how to get off the hamster wheel, do this correct, check the description down below, and you can find out about that special, all right? I guess that's it for the commercial aspect. Now, if we want to get to a little bit of the trading, we talked about the Dow Jones being up. As you can see, I am short the Dow Jones here.
Order submitted.
I'm also short the Dow Jones up here. This is, by the way, the VPS that I'll be offering very soon from Quant VPS. This one is actually a different firm, but we're going to build out the same thing, and it'll come loaded with NinjaTrader, set up exactly with the workspace that you would need to do these strategies. It'll come loaded with Tickblaze, set up exactly with the strategies that you need. It'll also come loaded, I feel like I'm selling a lot of things, but this is separate. This VPS is going to be kick-ass. So if if you're on Mac or something like that, and you think you need to use web-based trading platforms, no, you can use a VPS and you can use these desktop platforms, okay? This is one-click install. By the way, I'll just close this right here. I love these little lines that it forms, right? It shows you where I was short from and what I just took there. So this whole VPS environment, all set up for you. All you got to do is come in and connect data, and if you end up buying it during our launch, I'm also going to give you PropShop accounts for free. So you'll get some PropShop accounts and you can go and connect those. Okay, this is not available yet. What is available is to get involved in our trade room and our trade community so you can stay up on all of this. I know a lot of you were waiting for what's my recommended trade copier? Can we recommend Thor? And I was going to do Thor this week, but there's just too many other things to focus on before we talk about these tools and copiers and stuff. Thor just released a web-based version of their copier, so that might be interesting to some of you. I don't know if I'm going to get to Thor this week, but what I can begin to hint at is that if you're looking at a copier for just Tickblaze, it's going to be built in soon, all right? So you don't need a third party. I understand the third parties are good if you want to stitch a lot of things together, but you'll be able to stitch a decent amount of things together just on Tickblaze natively, all right? Yeah, it's a ton of Photoshop work to do that. It's a ton of that to even. It's so funny because I'm not on X. I don't look at it or anything. I have accounts, but I never get on it, and I get wind of all these things that are still happening with doctored statements and doctored this, and it's I don't know. It's so silly. How do you run multiple monitors with VPS? You can do that as well. We'll have training on all of that. It's really going to be super cool, everybody. I'm excited about. I've been joking about sort of over-promising and under-delivering because trading is only one of about 6 businesses that I'm involved with. But I'm really jazzed now about focusing more of my time on the trading side. Firstly, because the best thing I ever did was come in and there was 3 years where I didn't do this. I didn't need to do this. I was like, I don't need this. I really do have, I have other accounts and I trade completely different. I trade options on treasuries, as many of you know. But this is starting to almost rival it a little bit. I mean, I can frequently have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 days in funny money that I get paid on. That you guys can all do too. You guys cannot come in and do 50 lots in the treasury markets. I don't think many of you can. And most of you don't know yet how options on futures work. But you can buy some of these very cheap prop accounts, stitch them together using copiers, trade micros, establish a daily risk budget, come into our community and see it happen every day. And this is replicatable. This is real. This is a real way to have a path to, rather than saying a professional trader, I would say someone that certainly can complement and supplement their income using the markets, okay? And if I switch back up here for a moment, that's just Ninja connected to Tradevate. Now I have VPS here with PropShop connected to 2 different firms. Tickblaze connected to PropShop, Tickblaze connected to 2 other rhythmic futures firms that I'm practicing. And then look, you can do this too. Here's Ninja running next to Tickblaze. This is a Ninja chart. This is a Tickblaze chart. This is connected to PropShop. This is connected to Bullinox right here. Again, funded Bullinox accounts. This is madness. I don't need to be doing all this, but if people are going to give me free money for using my skills, I'll take it. So again, PropShop right here, Ninja Trader right here. Why don't we put in a target for this short on the S&P? So my current CURPOS, which stands for current positions, is short the Dow Jones with a buy stop right there. I'll come in and resell basically the highs of the day and the plus twos if we come up and get stopped out. Okay. So just toot my own horn for a moment. There's a lot of freaking nonsense out there. I'm sure you guys are. I appreciate your time in finding your way to this stream. This is not nonsense. This is real. You can do this. By the way, that's a live trade. I don't know if you heard that. It's freaking loud as heck. That's a live trade of the exact same position over on Tasty. So one of the things I also want to show is down here, you see this U161. There's the account right there. That's a real live account. Here's another one, 3483.
Connection lost.
So this is about a little less than $15,000 of real money. I'm doing the same thing in live tracking accounts here too. The exact same thing in real live markets. All right. So if you're just joining the stream, one last time before we get into just focusing on the charts, check the description down below. You see I'm running the special again where you can get access to my trade room for 3 months for $249 plus a bunch of other good things. Okay? If you are struggling at all or you don't think you need trader education, or you think you can do this on your own, if you are producing anywhere near the results that you're seeing going on here, great. You don't need me. But the vast majority of you need someone to show you, not a strategy, honestly. Yes, I'll trade the strategies. We'll talk through that. But just to show you that it's possible. Give you the unwavering faith that it can be done. That's what we talked about today when we were talking to Gary. This is possible. You can do this. You're not going to achieve anything in life if you think that it's not possible. You're certainly not going to achieve anything in life if you essentially follow, this is going to be a pretty egotistical statement, but literally if you follow anybody but me. And I hope that they clip that, and I'll go against anybody else. Like literally, I don't want to do a trade-off because we can't do a trade-off because no one would ever agree to trade the way I trade for these programs. But if you are finding your way to this stream and you're any other influencer out there and you want to do a trade-off with max size of 3 micros, let's go. You have no chance because you wouldn't even know how to do that with 3 micros. You wouldn't know. You don't know because no one knows because no one's trading small accounts properly in these programs. And what's frustrating to me, and I don't know if frustrating, it's just interesting, is that all the other influencers that are part of these firms, Top Step, Tradeify, My Funded Futures, whatever, they're all doing it wrong in front of everybody too. So you know, you can say what you want about certain firms like Apex, or if you already have maybe a ill-informed opinion of PropShop, but at least they don't have TV streams or live streams where they have people on their live streams sponsored by them trading in an irresponsible, oversized, over-leveraged manner. Okay. Let me see these quick questions over here. I'll come over to this. Did I mean anything? Yes, Tickblaze will have a built-in copier. I don't want to say soon, but it'll be this year. One-click installs means clicking a button once and it's done, not clicking through a menu to select the file. Yeah, I mean, I just mean you install it, and then you go up here. Like, so the question about how easy this really is. Once you install the file, you just go to desktops, recent desktops, and the one I'm working with right now is called TDG Desktop Docked. And if you buy the Quant VPS thing, the whole thing will be set up for you. I mean, literally all you have to do is connect it to data. Because we'll show you, this will all be pre-installed. You don't even have to install anything. Yeah, so I don't know if that's answering your question. So you mean just doing this? So it is a one-click install, and then you have to do this. You do have to do this, and then hit that button. So I'm sorry for overburdening anybody. All right, coming back to the next series of questions. I asked in the Discord, this made a better venue. What's your view on CFD prop firms and where are they fitting in trade for? Awful, terrible. Don't use them. CFDs are shit. Now, that being said, there have been several firms. My Funded Futures started as an FX firm, and they did a very good job of bringing over futures. There's about 6 other firms that I've been contacted with that I'm in discussions that have futures arm now, and they have futures arms that are legit. They're using actual CME data. They're using, they paid all the money to get set up with NinjaTrader and Tradeovate, which is very expensive now. Okay, not all of them. Some of them are using DXFeed with Volumetrica and some others. So if it happens to be a CFD FX firm to start, but you're using their futures arm, and you do whatever due diligence is necessary to feel comfortable with their program, then I'm fine with that. And there's about 6 or 8 firms that would fit that description. Alpha Futures, there's so many. Funded Next. I'm sure you can name more than I can. Okay, so that's my take on that. When we are outside the bands, can we short when we come back down inside the offer zone? So very good question. So we have been outside. We have been outside the bands here on the Dow Jones up here, right? So let's go to the Dow here, right? So we were outside the bands. Now we've come back in, so I will put an order to sell here and sell up at these. This isn't really sophisticated. One of the reasons that I really like the Brickwicks versus using minute charts is because it gives me these swing levels that I can work off of, right? They're very clear, easy to see areas in which we kind of topped out. So the question about trading outside the bands and then waiting for a move back inside the bands to get short, it's really a classic it depends, because what we have over here is our range trader as well, and the range trader absolutely got you done if you're just looking at this line right here, right? Now, this morning I had said I would not draw a offer zone that connected this all the way down to here. It's just too big of a zone. It's not very useful when the prior session high was this close to T-line. But I wouldn't mind basically cropping the wicks. Now, I know I'm doing this after the fact, but I drew this in on Ninja this morning in my trade room, that this was our offer zone. So when you have a level up here in which you can add, you can technically be getting short outside of the bands, because you're not referencing the bands as your logic for getting short. You're referencing the range trader, right? And if you got short anywhere up here, your first target would be the value area high, which is right here at 684, and your next target would be the developing POC, which is probably not going to change here at 45604. So I will predominantly in my trade room and for teaching and education, I'm going to scalp all over the place, or very frequently, because I want to be in trades. I want to get in trouble. I really do. I want to get in trouble so you guys can see managing risk properly at high probability turning points. This nonsense about, oh, I get killed and, you know, mean reversion and what do I do on trend days and whatever. You learn how to be situationally fluent. That's what you do. Not all +2s or not all 2 standard deviations from VWAP are created equal. You need to be able to learn how to see the matrix a little bit. And it's not that difficult. You're just going to reference a higher time frame 30-minute chart, and you're going to reference the amount of range relative to a 7-day ATR. You combine all that and you have everything you need to bake a frickin' tasty ass cake. So great question there. Appreciate it. Hopefully you got the answer. So there is the angry trader. Ooh, I don't even know what that is. Is that somebody else, or that should be me? I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all. Shall USA traders trade on CFD FX prop firms as well? No. No. FX and CFDs suck. It's a derivative. You know what it is? It's crazy. You know why there's 5 or 10 FX firms for every one futures firm that gets set up? Because it's completely unregulated in the sense of the data feed, right? You don't have to do. I could set up an FX CFD firm over the weekend and just start taking money. And some of them now are saying they don't A book and B book, and they're putting things directly on something. Like, there's not even true exchanges. The whole thing, this fantasy that has been sold to people that the FX markets are for retail or can be for retail, is it bigger than the stock market? It's bigger than the futures market in notional value, and of course it's currency. So you have gigantic institutions that are trading that. And all this bullshit that you can somehow see any type of order flow associated with it, which you can't. The feeds are obstructed. Why in the world would you trade a derivative? So when I say a derivative of a derivative, here's a little, let me educate you guys. So the futures markets are derivative markets, right? The prices and what we're trading are derived from something else, right? If I'm trading the gold market, I'm obviously trading a futures contract that is derived from the spot price of gold. If I'm trading the S&P, the ES, I'm trading a contract that is a fraction of the notional value of the entire index, right? And the index is what drives the price of the derivative I'm trading, all right? So that's 1 or 2 derivatives removed. If you get into CFDs, now it's a made up, do you guys know what the CFD price for like the US 30 is derived from? It's derived from the futures price, right? From the MYM. So since it's derived from the MYM, sometimes they just literally make it up. So you can literally see CFDs that are called US 30 that might be 10 points different than spot futures, 50 points different than spot futures, 5 points different than the spot cash price. In other words, the index price. I mean, it's just total madness. And yet, combine that with the fact that it's traded on C-Trader and MT5 and MT4. Oh my God. Please come over to the sane side of the world. Now, what I've seen is that a lot of influencers and stuff, after, making infinite millions of dollars promoting FTMO and some of these other programs, have found their way over to futures because traders are finding their way over to the proper markets to trade. So there you go. Yeah, well, what else do you need? I don't necessarily go, rah USA. If it's not available here, then it's clearly shady. But we have some of the best regulated markets in the world, and always have. And we, of course, have the most liquid markets in the world, especially if you talk about our equity markets. And we have the largest market cap. I mean, we have single stocks now that are greater than the GDP of half the world's economies. And this isn't just Apple, remember, anymore. It's, I think the 5 largest stocks on our exchange are larger than all the other exchanges in the world times 5, I think I saw. And that includes the FTSE and the Nikkei and all. I mean, that's insane. And that's just 5 companies. So you can fact check me on that. It's a lot, because we're talking about Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple. Just those 3, we're at 10 trillion, aren't we? Something like that. There ain't a lot of $10 trillion exchanges out there. Okay. Plus the firm disappears with your money. Yeah, that's not good. All right, so we touched base on that. Other than that, we got nothing to do except for sit and wait for the Dow to probably get back up there and retest the highs. We've seen these drifts for quite a while. I'm short the NASDAQ here in just this one account, looking for a move to. I'm only trading one account left over here today because, as I've shown you a couple times, I've already doctored all of my accounts for today, and I'm essentially done. So there's nothing else for me to do. You know what I did? What I do want to do is, I want to come over here for a moment. God, there's just too much shit on my screens. All right, hold on. Here we go. All right. So we have some people that have started to do some payouts from my favorite channel, and they're doing payouts from PropShop. So I just wanted to show this real briefly because, you know, it's hard to be humble when you're as great as I am, but we're just showing that this stuff is starting to work. So adding some PropShop now to, and remember, PropShop will tell you ahead of time if you're doing anything that would prevent you from receiving a payout, right? To my knowledge, one of the only firms that does that, which has a near real-time risk management engine that will alert you to any type of trading behavior that might put you in a bad spot when you go to ask for your payout, okay? So great feature of what they have going on over there. All right, friends don't let friends trade the NASDAQ, but since I'm in one here, why don't we just see what happens? Might be a little bit more interesting than the Dow Jones, where I am short up here.
Order pending.
I didn't take that off. All right, I'm going to sound like a broken record too. If you're just joining or if you hadn't heard before, you might want to check the description down below. I'm running a special for my trade room with a bunch of other promotions associated with it. I can't do what I did before, which got so many of you all jazzed, which was give you a direct account to... 2 of the 3 people that got those direct accounts when I gave a direct account at PropShop that ended up buying access to my trade room never ever even logged into the trade room. So I don't know. If you don't want to learn how to do it right, do it on your own. Do it on your own. It's not illegal to trade CFDs on prop firms. There are some that are allowing. I should restate that. I'm pretty sure that most U.S. citizens do not have access to the vast majority of the FX-CFD programs that are offered outside the U.S. And you can't trade CFDs as a U.S. citizen on any broker or exchange here. They're not permitted. So, and never will be. Even with the emergence of crypto, another derivative, of course, in crypto futures, and the fact that Kraken owns NinjaTrader, and NinjaTrader, of course, their platform and their broker are NFA members and regulated entities. And so, you know, you have some of these crypto exchanges that now have ways into our regulated markets. I'm proven wrong all the time, but I think a very fair statement, knowing what I know about the CME, is that you are never going to see CFDs unless the CME gets data fees for that feed. And the data fees are so expensive for CME fees, I don't know why in the world they would ever want to cannibalize by creating a derivative of a product they already have. So I don't think you're ever going to get benefit from that or be able to trade CFDs. So Mike or anybody that happens to be a member, so the answer to specials on anything else, annual or lifetime, is to just always contact one of our trader advocates. So we have a new one too. We have Sam and Brad, but you can contact Brad. Or just send an email to info@tradersdevgroup and say, hey, interested in upgrading to lifetime, or they vary from time to time, sometimes between 20 and 30% discounts. We don't do 40s anymore. But that's another thing. If you join and check it out for 3 months, I'm hopeful that the vast majority of people will see a tremendous amount of value and want to stay around for the community, even if they learn everything they think they need to learn in that period of time. You can take the entire $249 and apply it towards any upgrade. And if that upgrade is lifetime, you can apply it towards a discounted rate on lifetime and apply the entire $249. So you don't even have to wait for it to end, right? You can just say, all right, I'm in. And the two things that will end the trade room, aside from death and destruction of my physical being on this planet, will be if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, and I think we have a little bit of time before Bitcoin goes to 1 million, although if you believe the Cathys of the world and others, it might get there sooner. Or a very less likely function is if HNT goes to 50 again, or now we have a new one. I think if CRO went to $10, I'd probably quit then too. Other than that, I've been running this every day since May of 2018. So we are celebrating our 7-year anniversary, so you can get a lot of value off of lifetime. All right, that will be it. You tried to win the account from PropShop. So you signed up, and but now you're a very active member, so that's great. Very active member. Yes, XRP to it. If XRP goes to 1,000 or even $10 or 20 or some ridiculous market cap thing that could never actually exist, but we're going to replace Swift. All right, whatever. No, I don't. I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm on different bandwagons. I did post into our Discord. Maybe this is worth the price of admission alone. Right here. So on 8/26, I said, just buy CRO. So, I mean, I don't know what was more telegraphed. I think it was trading at like 18 or 19 cents then, I think. At the beginning of the month, it was at 15 cents. And I don't know, spiked up to 40. It's trading at like 25 now. So anyway, this is just one of a lot of channels that we have in here. Let me move this over so you can see it a little bit better. So channels that are beyond prop trading, we have them on options, stocks, crypto, a little bit about most of the prop funding companies, a lot about tech and hardware and things like that. But here's the most important channel is this. So what I don't offer or sell is a bunch of courses, right? There's 3 reasons I don't do courses in terms of making it a focus for paid anything, right? Give me 97 or 47 or 197 or 997 for this course, right? No one finishes courses. Like less than 5% of anybody who buys anything in terms of a digital course finishes anything. The reason that in-person things are so much more valuable to go to a rah-rah sugar high thing like Tony Robbins or something is because at least you're there and you consume all the frickin' material while you're there. Then what happens is you leave, the sugar high is over, and all the supporting materials and things you're supposed to be doing you don't implement into your life, right? So no one finishes them. Number 2, as of now, they're not really that interactive. Now, we might be changing that with large language models and essentially AI chat front-end interfaces to these course materials. That I'm excited about and that I'm working on. So and that I will charge for. So when I have eventually a fully interactive knowledge base that's trained with everything that I've ever produced, which is the reason I am mentioning this is because everything I've ever produced is thousands of trade recordings now of the trade room. So every day when the trade room is over, and I think there's a lot of members that don't even know this, so I'll tell you right now. Every day when the trade room is over, I have a bot an AI agent that goes in and transcribes the trade room and then puts it into the AI knowledge base that we're working on. So every single thing I say in the trade room, all the nonsense that I say, the same as I say on the stream, is all available in there. So already this thing is infinitely more knowledgeable than I am because it doesn't forget anything. Anything I ever said, every question I've ever answered in the trade room, everything, including these live streams. So these live streams are also into the AI. So the reason that you should not be buying any courses in their current state is because very soon, if people aren't doing it already, what you should be getting is a structured kind of course that also contains this AI chatbot knowledge base that you can ask any possible question on as you're going through those materials, so that you have Rod's brain in your pocket, as I've said before. That's the real future. And then the third thing as to why courses are nonsense is the current state. Again, if we add some AI intelligence to them, I think they're going to improve dramatically. But the third reason is the only way you really develop a skill is by deliberate daily practice. You cannot learn anything about golf from every possible golf instruction video at all. Maybe some tips and tricks, maybe a little bit here and there, but you got to go out in the course and swing the club. There's just no way around it. So there's no way around. That's why the other thing I'll never offer is bots or paid indicators or algos and all these things. And some of my partners sell them, right? Of course, I'm an investor in NeuroStreet, Tickblaze, whatever. They're selling a lot of algos and a lot of stuff, and it's fine. I mean, I don't want to comment on the quality of anything that people are offering out there. It's not about the quality. It's about the fact that that's not really the way to ever develop situational fluency and learn how to operate in dynamic markets, which is what trading is all about. So anyway, that's the deal here. And when you become a member of our community for $249, you're going to get access to this Discord forever, even if you decide to never come back. You can go and pick any day you want, okay? Any day you want. And by the way, for a while I was putting the screenshot of the day on there because it was just always green. It's like an embarrassment of riches. But I decided to stop doing that because it just takes too much time, so I can just upload it really quick. But I take a screenshot of every single day, and again, takes forever to doctor this. Here is yesterday. Okay, so here's yesterday, and when you add all that up, it's $6,000, $6,000. And what I'll do at the end of today is I'll take this and I'll feed it into ChatGPT, and I'll say, by the way, just hit target on the short on the NASDAQ. We went right down to T-line on the stay in your lane. I'll have it sum this column, and anyone spitball that? 2, 6, what? This has got to be 2 or 3,000. Probably more like 3,000. All right. Yeah, so a lot of people just pick random ones to watch. What will be possible is with the AI, you'll be able to ask queries that will be able to bring back whatever recording that you can watch that is specific to a topic that you're interested in. Yep, it'll be searchable. MES fill, what happened there? Oh yeah, I'm short. So short the MES at 17.5. Thank you.
Order modified.
Here's the MES short at 17.5. See how this goes. And on this Dow Jones, since we see how strong United Healthcare and Goldman is, I'm just going to leave it up here at like, just come back and get me at highs for the day. I should be able to control risk on that. 5 more minutes, so we have our market on close orders. If the model can also use screenshots to offer advice and better understand your question, that would be, yeah. Oh, it'll do all that. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all these things. The AI applications for everything in the world are just crazy. So there's already 20, probably 20 plus, because I also have an AI agent that goes out and constantly looks for every possible thing related to AI and the stock market. And so what we train this AI agent to do is it has access to a couple different Instagram feeds, and those Instagram feeds have been doctored up to express only interest in trading and algorithmic trading and AI related to trading and everything trading, stock market, AI. and then it just grabs all those ads and all those things and puts them into a database so it sees what everybody's doing. And the question was around a chart or a screenshot. Yeah, that's going to be clearly part of the functionality. I mean, there's already folks that are saying that there's AIs that can be predictive of future price movements. I don't think so. They can probably spin a random number generator and take a guess, but I don't think we're going to be able to feed any infinite amount of charts and have it have any predictive value. I mean, there are, where they're trying it the most is on handicapping, right? And that's infinitely hard because the only way to sharp off a number is to have enough very, 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 very educated people place their bets, and then that's the line that you're working off again. So I don't know how AI is ever going to beat that line. I don't think it can, unless it has some logic of, I mean, in most major sports. Anyway, those of you that are handicappers know what I'm talking about. All right. Question here. How can what is this? All right. By the way, we have 5 more minutes until our market on close orders. So I'm short the S&P at 17.5 with an add at 22 and resting in order to sell NASDAQ at 877s, which is basically plus 2s. And here's a question I'm going to answer. How can I learn from you? I'm profitable and need to size the shit down, stop blowing accounts. Look at the description down below. Don't even need to take a trial. I'm not doing any money back guarantees on these things, but I'll just say here into the mic, if you join my community for 90 days and apply yourself and go in there, you don't have to even be in there every day, but just be in there enough, a couple days a week, watch some of the replays, whatever, and you get through the entire 90 days. This is people that have maybe not taken a trial and are just watching the replay of this stream. Just contact me. I'll give you your money back. So I'm not going to promote because people pay attention to what they pay for, So this whole unconditional stuff just sets you up for too much knowledge. Plus, it's only $249 if you can't afford $249. But anyway, big mic to fit me or whatever, or anybody else, just check the description down below. In fact, I don't know, did I put the link to it in there? Maybe I didn't. Yikes. Let me get you the link if you want. Maybe it's not even in there. How's anyone going to sign up? I don't think it is. So let me grab it. I will grab it right here. And I'll be sure to add it to the description if it's not in there. So that's not a sales page. It doesn't have any of the what you get kind of stuff. It's literally just an order form. So if anyone's interested, and if that's not your cup of tea, then by all means, anyone ever watching my streams, just get on my list. Grab the free ebook. I don't even care if you read it or whatever. I have a team of two guys now that craft really well done emails in my voice with valuable stuff about trading, with valuable clicks to other materials and things that I've done in the past. So we're going to make sure that people get as much free stuff as they possibly can. There's a free ebook. There's a free Futures Fanatic Foundation course. All right, there we go. There's the 50.
Order filled.
There's the 50. Yeah. So again, if you're not already associated with TDG, it's this great time to check it out. And the trade room is very similar to what you're seeing here, with the exception that there's more activity. So I will jump between different instruments and different charts. I trade the MES, the MNQ, the MYM, the M2K occasionally. Friends don't let friends trade the Russell. The MCL very occasionally. A fair amount of MGC, which is micro gold, given what's going on, and a fair amount of MBT, which is micro Bitcoin, which you cannot trade at PropShop and you cannot trade at certain places. You can trade that. But this is what the trade room looks like, okay? the vast majority of the time, I'm going to sit here on the Dow and force you guys to be bored with the Dow. If you are a member of my trade community, you were in the room today and made a good amount of money on the Dow in a stress-free way, put in Dow exclamation point. I mean, gang, this morning the Dow was down in the bid zone. Now it's way up here. It's punching its way outside the offer zone. Yeah. Let's get a lot of Dows in there. I don't know how many of my trade room people. I have a lot of people from Europe and Asia and stuff where it's the middle of the night. So there you go. Look, and we joke, old man Dow, right? 50 cents a tick, whatever. Real traders don't trade that. But when you can use leverage across accounts,
order canceled.
Right? Use leverage across accounts. Use copiers. Take the $75 that you made in the Dow in a stress-free way and multiply it by 5. Multiply it by 10. Now you had a $750 day, and you did so with a $200 daily risk budget. There you go. Lots of Dows in there. And MGC too today. I mean, caught the top in gold. A lucky top in gold. I mean, you see where gold's trading now right here. Am I on the right chart? Yeah, so this is gold and this right here. Easier to see it right here. But if I were to turn on, I mean, you guys know this. There was some silly news this morning. I didn't even know what it was. And my group was like, "Hey, there's news in 3 minutes," and then I looked at it and I didn't even know what that news was, honestly. But then popped this up here. I think we did pretty good in all these accounts, but let me just see. We'll do this, properties. That's why I love the trade lines on Tickblaze, because you can see all the trades. Right? This thing needs some trade lines too. So anyway, there you go. Sell, see. So I got 37.14, 37 whatever. And then that's just in that account. And then I think that's for all the accounts. I don't remember. Yeah, see. So the whole idea is just controlling risk, keeping your size so that you can deal with this sort of insanity. I don't really like the term, but this term is true. Markets are very efficient, but for very small periods of time, they can become dislocated. So our job as a trader, especially if you're a mean reversion trader, is to know that most of the time the markets are relatively efficient. They're doing what you'd expect them to do within certain ranges, but there are definite times during the trading session where they get dislocated, where some algo or something goes on and just drives price way up or way down really quickly. You guys have all seen it. You're going to see it a million times if you keep trading. What you can do with micros and proper risk management and volatility bands is be kind of in the space where you can manage an unprofitable position while you're, the saying, you picking bottoms get stinky fingers. No, I come out clean as a whistle. I can pick bottoms with no stinky fingers. I can find tops generally. And by the way, shorting strong markets is infinitely harder than buying weak markets or temporarily weak market. So anyhow, we got about 5 more minutes left here, and the Dow's doing its thing. The S&P is doing its thing. So I will get a fill here. Oh, I'm already short. So that's a Kermit candle to close, baby. I'm going to cancel this here.
Order canceled.
And just focus on this S&P short, which I have in both PropShop and in Bullinox. Strong closes again. For treasury traders, if you care, I did get a fill on my my ZT here. So I'm long ZT from 104 125. I put that in the trade room before we ended. I don't know if there's many treasury traders out there, but that's in there. Okay, what I need is a chart that I can trade off of here. So let me do this. MES, come on in, please. There we go. All right, let's just gracefully exit one of these.
Order filled.
So I don't want to give back. I don't have a profitable day here. I'm down $15 now. So we'll see if this can come in a little bit. Maybe not leave us hanging, or maybe leave us hanging. But at this point, this should be a controllable trade over the next 4 minutes. We had NASDAQ go up there to the +2s as well. You can see right up to potential reversal area. So with this style, question that I get asked constantly is, what do you do if it goes outside the bands and keeps pushing? You hit the close button, or you take one off. The other thing you don't do is do not be involved at a level less than the level that you need. So if you're constantly fighting and stuff like that, you don't trade the +1s on a short side. You wait for the +2s. Okay, you wait for the +2s. Should be able to handle a, $20 loss across 5 accounts. It might end up being more, it might end up being less. The only thing that matters in trading is your cost basis. So the more you can sell the more expensive things, and the more you can buy the cheaper things. In other words, the better your cost basis is, the closer you are to extremes if you're using this type of trading style, the better off you are. Anyone know what the total range is today on the S&P, for instance? You can get it from looking at this indicator right here, which is obstructed. So I think, pretty sure the range today on the S&P is like 40-something points, 45 points. So we're not even 47 points. So we're not even at the expected range because the ATR is 60. Yes. So reminder, there is a bunch of good stuff going on here in the over here. We do have PPI tomorrow, so be aware. There's some firms that will not allow you to trade around that. Please don't lose your accounts because you don't know the rules. They generally send some emails, and that will probably move the markets around a little bit. As you can see, I'm long the ZT going into it. When did I discover the Renko bars? Did them in conjunction with another firm, 06, 07. So we're coming up on almost 20 years. Why don't you think most prop doesn't allow treasuries? We already, Sean answered that. It's NASI dropping a little bit there. Okay, I'm short the MYM here, so I'm going to take it right there.
Order filled.
Put in a buy stop.
Order submitted.
Over there on PropShop, I am still short the S&P, and given that we came in after that little spike there, and the markets are now closed, cash markets are closed, so I'll just trail this thing down a little bit. Let me go over the right chart here. Okay. So let's go over like an important thing over here, okay? Which is, let's use the Dow as an example, okay? Strong close, starts pushing. I'm short 2. I have a daily risk budget of $250. I'm up $90 on the day. All kinds of considerations you could make. You know, if you say, hey, I just don't want to give back more than half of what I'm up on the day, $50. Okay? Just hit the close button if you see yourself down $50. More people need to teach on the concept of just trading your P&L. In fact, so much stuff out there makes zero sense. Trade for ticks, not for pen. It's about the process. It's about, fuck the process. I need results. I gotta have results. The results are don't lose a lot of money. So where's my stop? Where's my target? Where's all these things? You know, I trade purposely without those things. Now, should you? No. When you're first starting out, do something. As I've said very often, you can make it please make it dynamic. So let me go through the training again on dynamic, and some people don't understand what dynamic means. So we all agree that these lines are all dynamic. I'm not saying predictive of price. I'm not saying lagging anything. Let's get out of their head of lagging, leading indicators, all this stuff. There's no leading indicators of anything. There is a little bit if you understand really how to watch some order flow, but don't worry about that. Okay, so these are dynamic lines because they're constantly moving and they're adjusting to the volatility of the day, right? They are mathematical distances from the volume weighted average price. So if I get short here and I'm taught that that's my target, right? From 780 to 703, I'm not very good at math, but let's just say that's 75 points. Let's say it's 80 points, okay? And I want a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Okay, 2-to-1 reward to risk, and it's an 80-point target. Where is my stop? I'm just going to wait for someone to answer. Okay, I get short at 45,780. My target is 45,700. I have an 80-point target. I want a 2-to-1 reward to risk, and I want it to be dynamic. Where do I put my stop? How many points above 780 is my stop? Okay, you guys answered 37.5. Let's just round it up to 40, right? Nobody teaches this. Zero. Nobody. Literally nobody. Okay? You know what else I'm going to have for you guys pretty soon is I'm working with a developer for both Tickblaze and for TradingView. Are you ready for this? This is going to blow your mind. You will be able to set up an ATM over here that will do that for you. You don't even have to do it. So instead of 25% ATR or instead of, you know, whatever the case is, you will be able to, and I am going to sell this indicator to you guys because the reason you'll buy it is because all it's doing is automating theory and logic that you already know, right? I'm not selling you some hopes and dreams or bot or whatever that you need to recalibrate and you don't understand the logic or anything. All I'm doing is selling automation. So I will be selling this to you. And that will allow you to short at 45,780. It will measure the distance to your first target. By the way, you can put in any kind of logic that you want. If you want to say +2s to VWAP is your target, great. You can have an ATM for that. If you want to say it's line to line, you can have an ATM for that. If you want to say it's first line to first target, you can have an ATM for that. So the moment you get filled here, your target is there, your stop is there, and then guess what? You can do all that other fancy shit if you want. You can put in trailing logic and all kinds of stuff. You can do whatever you want. Please join my trade community. Please get access to this stuff. Please learn how to do these things correctly. Please improve your trading life. Please be able to supplement and complement your income. So yeah, 4580 was the answer I was looking for.
Order filled.
Okay, now I'm going to come up here real quick and close out of this. I could let this run a little further, but I don't like to. Okay.
Order filled.
And whoa, we made $11. We were down whatever we were down. We're going to go to orders, cancel all orders. Sometimes I like to go here and just say flatten everything, but we're done. So we're done there. And I'm just going to close this here too. Let me see. This is the S&P, right? So let's just buy market.
Order filled.
Close that.
Position
all right.
closed.
All done.
Order modified. Order filled.
Let me cancel this.
Order canceled.
Got about 9 million things I got to get out of here.
Order filled. Position closed.
Let me close this, flatten
Order
all.
filled.
By the way, thank you to everybody that showed me how to flatten all over on use your words, Rod, to flatten all on Top Step X. That was great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let me put in here one more time. One more time. One more time. 249. Join the trade room. 3 months. 3 payments. No, that's not 3 payments. Jenner and Ostrich, 3 payments. I'm just out here new booth goofing. Man, there's a lot of people that are taking advice. The toughest thing about all this for me is, look, I managed to get in around at the same time. It's an embarrassment of riches how much money I've made from affiliate. And that's just because people gamble with my code just like they gamble with anybody else's code. But it is a little tough to see the way this is developed, and that there's still a decent amount of influencers out there that they're just doing their own thing, and the prop firms are catering to them because they just can still generate a lot of business, which is I don't quite get it now that there seems to be enough enlightenment out there, but it is what it is. So whatever. I'm glad you found your way here today. I really appreciate everybody who's taking the time to show up. One last thing on the I'm going to put this in here, right here. Going to put it in the chat. Okay, that's kind of a long chat, but ooh. Oh, it won't let me do that. It's too long. Let me see if it'll let me do this. Oops. What's the longest chat you can write in there? Apparently not 300. How many characters? I don't know. It's not letting me put it in there. So, who cares? Pulled out a Green Day after all. Awesome. Love it. All right, one last takeaway, aside from all the sales. Please embrace this concept. Measure the distance from a dynamic entry to a dynamic target, and then decide what type of risk reward you want to take. Remember, there's no discretion here. We're not anchoring anything to a fib level. We're not using some sort of structure. So we're not seeing ghosts by looking left in the past, right? We are trading truly the hard right edge of the chart, right? Does everyone agree with that? We're trading the hard right edge of the chart. None of this look left, put it under this swing level, do this, use a Fibonacci, trail it with this, do this. No. Get the fundamentals down, and then you can decide how you want to manipulate that. But the most important part of this is not necessarily even the logic assigned to a dynamic stop and target. It's that if you are trading anything and you start to see a number on your screen that is a certain percentage, what we started to say, maybe a third of your DRB. So if you have a $300 daily risk budget and you see a trade that's down $100, don't do anything except hit the close button. Or a slightly more advanced thing would be to reduce your size. If it's a 3 lot in the Dow Jones and it's it's $1.50 per point, take 1 or 2 of them off so that you can handle a little bit more heat and maybe give yourself the opportunity to find the reversal there. I'm referring to being short, right? The automation script will be priceless. No, it's a work in progress. It'll be very, 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 very reasonable. But it won't have any value to someone that doesn't understand the theory and logic behind the strategies in which it's meant to be traded with, right? So before being too concerned about what I just described, instead, come over to my trade community, learn these things for yourself so that you understand the theory and logic and because the final thing is does automation and quant trading and algorithmic trading work? Of course it works, but not very much on the retail level, because what's happening on the institutional level is they just have thousands of models, and the only thing the humans decide to do, and probably the humans don't do this anymore, maybe it's AI, is which models do we want to run today in this particular market environment against which particular instruments. That's too much for us to process. But what you can do is say, oh, here's all of the trade management associated with just this one strategy, and I only trade the Dow. So I only trade the Dow. I understand how to understand what the volatility regime looks like for today's trading session. I know what my daily risk budget is. Given all those factors, here's the ATM script that I'm going to run today for that instrument on that trading strategy. Does that make sense? That will work. And by the way, you can automate as much of it as you want. In fact, if you like the trade management aspect of it, the ATM script, right? On Tickblaze or on NinjaTrader, you can take it one step further. Just use, if you know how to program, you could do it yourself, or you could use Shark indicators, or you can use the company that I'm developing on Tickblaze and script up the whole thing. Now you have an automated strategy that's running, that you understand, that you can recalibrate, that you can decide whether you want to push the button and turn it on or turn it off, right? Now you have all the advantages of never missing a trade, right? I do not recommend not trading when you're not watching it, but never missing a trade, scaling up, trading multiple instruments at the same time. By the way, look at this close in the S&P. Went right back up. All right, we're going to end it there for today. Stay green, everybody. Trade like you mean it. We'll see you at the same stream tomorrow. Again, check the description down below for all the nonsense I talked about. But I really would love you to join our group. If that's not your thing, at least get the ebook or download the Futures Fanatic Foundation course. Some way that you can stay in touch. It'd be great. I'll do my best to continue to provide this education on an affordable basis. Love to see you in the trade room tomorrow. Stay green, trade like you mean it. See you later. Bye.